Stand to attention, it is finally time to bring out our tanks and conquer the world once again. After many years of nothing, at last we can get the chance to experience one of Nintendo's most unknown, yet brilliant strategy games again. Some people might mistake it for a smartphone game, but let their ignorance be forgiven and rejoice this precious moment together. However, clouds starts to rise over the horizon of this promising event, as this game is not delayed once, but twice, and the question we are asking is how this will affect the release of an already struggling franchise. Buckle your helmets tight as we discuss if Advance Wars Reboot Camp is either doomed to fail as an IP one more time, or if this snafu of a comeback maybe even benefits the situation.
The remake of Advance Wars Reboot Camp is a rather confusing case, I would say. As you probably know, the game was supposed to come out in December, then it was delayed probably just to make sure it's better or whatever, and then it was supposed to come out in April, I think, at the start of April, and it was sadly delayed again because of real-world circumstances, basically. While we're not here to tackle this topic specifically, it's more about the case of Advance Wars and what the delay means for the remake, if it's going to benefit even maybe from this delay, or if this will basically just kill the franchise once again. Before we start talking about the delay as such, let's just make sure for people who are not very aware of Advance Wars why this game is a relatively big deal. Many people still think that Advance Wars Reboot Camp is probably like some people even jokingly call it a smartphone game, like it looks like a smartphone game, but many people don't know that this game is actually a Nintendo IP, and back in the day it was a relatively huge one, I would say. It's like the big brother of Fire Emblem, because it came out before Fire Emblem, I think, and they share some similarities. If you see, the gameplay is rather similar. I think it was even developed by the same developer, like Intelligent System, if I'm correct. So yeah, it's not like Advance Wars is a smaller thing, but it got unsuccessful. It was unsuccessful, so Nintendo just basically started to not make new games. I think like the last time we got a new Advance Wars game was like in the DS days, the one Dual Strike, and the other one which was a little more on the dark side. So yeah, since then Advance Wars never got the chance to shine again, and now with the remake developed not by Nintendo, by someone else, but the remake is finally the chance to maybe bring back Advance Wars. It's not like it has to be like a huge series, but maybe relatively successful. I don't think the costs to develop this game are very big. It's not like this game needs a huge budget, and so yeah, it's not like the game needs these huge sales in order to become like a franchise Nintendo's considering doing again in the future. Of course, the remake, they are probably remaking the first two games just to touch the waters, just to feel how the temperature of the waters, if people are even still interested. And this is actually a rather good approach, because if you do remakes of old games which are still very good and aged very well, you can just remake them without doing something new, and then just test if people are still interested or not. And this is a very good approach, I would say. They even made the struggle to remake two games. I don't know, maybe like the first one is rather short, but it's not very Nintendo to do this. So you can clearly see, even though it's just a remake, it's not like there's no passion behind the project, because they want to give people something, they want to offer something to the old Advance Wars fans. Yeah, and if you look at the if you watch the last trailers, you can clearly see the passion. It's like they added the voice acting, which is completely new, the character animations, and even the online mode, which hopefully keeps the game alive for quite some while, because Advance Wars Online sounds actually very interesting. So while the game is not unambitious or lazy at all, it's already a struggling franchise even now. The trailers, like, they don't get the views, they don't get the huge amount of views like the other videos, because I think even Nintendo, they are not doing a very good job communicating that this game is a Nintendo IP. Of course they are like, this is a remake and all that stuff. People probably know this is a remake, but I don't think people know this is a remake of an old Nintendo IP, which was rather successful, rather big, had a good reputation back in the day. So they should probably do more for the... They now have the time to do more advertisement, to rethink how they want to present the game. So they should probably think again and advertise it more like, you know, like this Nintendo IP, like this is one of the, not the Marios obviously, but this is one of the Nintendo family. They should do that, maybe like catching in some Fire Emblem fans, because the gameplay is not the same, but it's rather similar. So yeah, but what happens with the delay? So if the delay happens, the only thing, well, the release date last December was probably a good idea to delay to the next year, because it's not like, I don't think people would be like getting the new Advance Wars for the Christmas, right? They would like to get more the Pokemon and all that stuff. So it was a good idea, but now it's getting kind of risky, I would say, because the more we approach the second half of the year or summer in general, you know, we get the Mario Strikers, we will get the Fire Emblem Three Hopes and all that stuff. So yeah, there's pretty good competition for this game, and so as far, well, at the time of this recording, we don't have a new release date, which is something, for me at least. Maybe they are even changing some stuff in the game to have not the similarities to the real world. I do, maybe even, it's kind of suspicious, I do think they are probably changing stuff in the game, like maybe not like only the names and all that stuff, but even some graphical aspects, some character designs, to have a more loose world, to have a more fictional world, so to speak. It's already fictional, it's not like Advance Wars is based on the real world, but it's very clear which nation represents which nation in the real world in the game. So maybe they're probably going to change that as much as possible to don't have this real world connections. Another kind of well, I don't know if I can say promising, but rather, yeah, maybe promising thing about the remake, about the delay, is that if the game gets delayed and all that stuff, it kind of has its own stigma, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe this is a little far stretched, but it's like maybe the game gets more attention because of all these delays. When the game finally comes out, people will be like, is this the one which gets delayed and delayed all the time? I don't even know. Probably not, because just, you know, the competition will be rather big in the summer, and people will probably be more like they want to get the new Splatoon, the new Mario Strikers, and not the Advance Wars. And this is kind of the problem where I see it. Maybe there is, because of the delays, the game gets a special reputation, but yeah, kind of iffy, I would say. The only real problem I have with all of this is that Advance Wars, it needs a chance. I was never expecting they would do this IP again, so I am extremely happy we get another chance, even with the online mode, even getting the 2 games in one. So I'm extremely happy what they will give me. But the problem is, you know, it's not like they're doing this remake out of nowhere. You're not doing this remake just for the fans, right? It's Nintendo. They want to have as many established IPs as possible. So obviously they are testing. They want to see, is this IP marketable for the future? And you know, Nintendo has this kind of behavior where it seems like they want to bring something back, but they're not doing the advertisement really well, and then it's like, oh well, you didn't bought the game, it seems like you're not interested, right? Even though they just presented the game very wrong. A good example is how the advertisement is so important to a game. It's so mega important, in case you're not aware how important, how significant this is, but just look at the Fire Emblem. They did, like, for the Awakening, for the 3DS, like for the first time back in the day, good advertisement. They portrayed the game properly. Just see what happened, like, I think like 20 years ago or 15 years ago. If I would say you that Fire Emblem is one like of the established Nintendo IPs that basically everyone knows, you would probably just think I'm the stupid and I'm the dummy one, but here we are, right? And yeah, the same could actually happen for Advance Wars, because Advance Wars, it's fictional, it's very childish, you know what I mean? It's very childlike, it's colorful, it's like, of course there's like a war in this game, but it's like, it's the same when 2 kids are sitting on the floor and they have their tanks and they're playing war, right? It's basically, Advance Wars represents this childlike spirit of just playing friendly war against each other. I think I'm making this sound way more worse. It sounds way more worse, I think. But I think you know what I mean. So yeah, it's even a good entry franchise for children or people who are just maybe never tackled a strategy game. It's very beginner friendly, the game. They're not hard at all. They are very doable for everyone. So yeah, the point I'm trying to make is I would be sad. I would be very sad if this game cannot come back, because I can already see the sales. They are probably not going to be big. I think the game, if this game sells like 1 million, this would be like a huge success. I think like even the budget is probably not big, so it would be a huge success if this game sells 1 million. And yeah, this is basically it. Let me know what you think about all of this. Do you think the game is doomed to fail again because of all the circumstances, the unlucky circumstances, we have to say? It's like, I think like when the first game came out, there was a similar case, like because of something they delayed in the US the game, so it's very unfortunate that this game has to face the same problem again, which is very sad. But let me know, are you even interested in Advance Wars? What do you think about this whole delay, about this whole situation of this game? Should they have just released the game as it was? Was it a good decision to delay it? What do you think is a good decision to bring out the game in which release? And let's just hope the Advance Wars will be doing good.